Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with Dan Blacklock, creator of BoxThrone, the world's first modular shelving system made exclusively for board games, and has already shipped over 10,000 units worldwide. His company, Cloud Puncher Games, currently has a Kickstarter campaign running for their modular transforming token holder called Token Sesame. Originally from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Dan also runs a marketing agency in China, helping local entrepreneurs launch their products on Kickstarter. Dan, welcome to the binge. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. Good. Thanks for having me.
So let's jump right into really quickly BoxThrone. We got to talk about BoxThrone before we get into Token Sesame, because I got to tell you, it is cool. That's the only word to describe it, is cool. So what's BoxThrone? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah. So, BoxThrone is a made for board game shelving system. Every shelf is adjustable. Came up with the idea because I didn't really like storing my games vertically, like on their side, because like the lids would slip off and like all the bits inside would jumble down. And when I stack them, I was always getting games off the bottom of the stack, because that's kind of like how my rotation worked. So like,
Yep.
I would be shuffling them out and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, what if I could make a system that had, one game per shelf, or like a few games per shelf, but I can just slide it out easily. So I created this shelving system where every shelf is fully adjustable. I also wanted to make it expandable. Yep. So you have like a seamless kind of wall of shelves, because our board game collections always seem to be growing, right? So, and so, yeah, that's what we came up with it. And then it just made it super customizable with the colors and all that kind of stuff. It's all stainless steel too. Because the other thing I was worried about was like, a lot of people have like, kind of like the cheap wooden shelving. And sometimes like if you have a long enough, plank, sometimes it sags. Like I have a photo on that Kickstarter from a guy. He actually works at DreamWorks, and he sent me this photo of his game shelf, and it was just, the whole thing was just sagging down. And so I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. This kind of like was inspired.
Yeah, most have moved kind of to this like grid-like shelving I got behind me, right? Which is super heavy, and you're kind of forced to turn everything on its side. What I thought was really cool was, I never really thought about this until I saw that Kickstarter, and it's the images that, most people do put their games kind of on their sides now, which requires some kind of a elastic band to hold the box together, or you can do those X bands that are now, I think, another Kickstarter.
Like, they're just not designed for it, right?
Yeah.
Like even the art is, it's designed to be displayed horizontally. So.
And not only that, but then when you open up the box, everything's all over the place, right? So yours actually keeps everything kind of the way it was intended, nice and clean. And then does it go, like, how high can it go and how wide? Is there like limits? Or?
It can go like infinitely high, really. For safety reasons, we say don't stack it over, I think, 12 feet high. But yeah, like I've got photos of people doing it like 10 feet high, like just whole walls with like a ladder and stuff like that. Like
that's crazy. And now have you linked that into like any game stores? Or like, is there actual game stores now that are using your system?
Yeah, we have a few. Like we actually provide the shelving for the Shut Up and Sit Down Expo as well. So like we're a sponsor of that. But as well, like, I've had a lot of different game stores, a lot of them in Europe actually, who use it either not for like their whole collection, but maybe for like their kind of like their hotness, like maybe they'll have like 20 games you want to focus on. That's where they'll put it, like right in front of the store. So
I gotta tell you, it's a clever design. And for those who aren't aware, you hit, I think it was $905,000 on that campaign, Canadian dollars, but that's an incredible.
It's USD.
Well, was that USD? Wow. Sorry. Okay. So we're like, what, 1.2 million Canadian. So that's good for you. And 10,000 units worldwide. So obviously a lot of people are using this system, and you're continuing to sell this system, right? Like this system continues to go out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like we sold like almost 4,000 during the Kickstarter. And then since then, like this store's been open for about a year and a half. And since then we've sold like another 6,000 of them. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now you are a fellow Canuck, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that you're actually talking to us from China right now. So this is why we're at 11 o'clock versus our 6 p.m.
time slot. You can tell how dark it is.
Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us from so far away. So what brought you to China? Why are you there now?
Well, like I first came to do the production for the BoxThrone. Like I was here to oversee manufacturing and like finalize the design. Like I had a bunch of stuff I needed to tweak after the campaign that was like, oh no, this isn't going to work. Like if we do this, we're going to be super over budget. Like just the way we designed some of the columns and stuff like that, like it used so much metal in it that I'm like, oh, we could have it like a more efficient design that uses less resources and is also better. So I went there and worked with an engineer there for like 2 months, finalizing the design and stuff like that. So I did that, came back to Canada, and then I don't know, did some stuff, came back again to start production, and like I came back 3 times, and the third time I was here, I just really liked the startup vibe, the startup community. Like there's a lot of Western foreign entrepreneurs in Shenzhen in China with like cool tech startups. And just the energy at the time was just like, it was intoxicating. It's just like, wow, everyone's running these cool startups, and you know, you meet someone the next day, they're like a millionaire because they got all this investment and stuff like that. And it's just like a very high energy, almost like a young Silicon Valley vibe.
Sure.
So I was just like, oh man, I want to move here. So then I just moved here.
Now, what was your background before doing this? Did you have a business background, or what was your before you're doing that?
Yeah. So I did public relations for Berkshire Hathaway Energy Company. Okay. So like I worked for them for 5 years, and then like I also was like a publicist, and before that I was like a technical writer for software and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a communications background, so mostly like writing stuff, so really nothing to do with the Kickstarter, but I've always had an interest in like design and video and stuff like that, because that'd also be part of my job. So and then writing, obviously, like I really enjoy writing. Like right now in the current Token Sesame campaign, I got like a whole novella in there. Yeah.
But that's pretty impressive, just to kind of pick up and say, you know what, I want to be closer to the manufacturing. I want to kind of get hands-on. So I'm just going to pack my bags and fly around the world to get where this stuff is being made. That's incredible.
It was impulsive. I owned an apartment in Canada. I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave. Okay, cool. So then, yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. And we're going to get into obviously Token Sesame, but I mean, right now it's a little bit different, right? With the COVID, you know, things are pretty much on lockdown, I guess, right now, right?
Yes. So that's why I can't leave, basically, because China isn't allowing foreigners to enter the country. So if I leave, I can't come back, and I don't want to leave until we start production on Token Sesame. And I have a couple of other projects and stuff in R&D phase right now. So
that's cool. So let's talk about Token Sesame, because this is, cool. I gotta tell you, not only the item itself is pretty cool, but I love and I guess it's the writing that comes through on here, is the personality behind it. I think is pretty awesome. So let's describe, what is Token Sesame? Talk to us about this. What is this? Yeah, so like it's basically a modular transforming token holder to hold all your board game bits, your components and stuff like that, that kind of adapts to the size of your table. So if you have a very small table, you can build it up really high. If you've got a big table, you can, spread it out really wide or do a bunch of different stuff with it. It's like vertically stacking too. It's just a bunch of different things with it. It took me a while to explain, but that's okay. We got a half hour, man.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, basically it's got like, it can convert to a dice rolling tray. It's got a card deck holder module in there. I think the main thing about it though is that it has a bunch of these collectible art plates. So like around the side of it, you see these panels like with art on it. Yep. You can actually take those off and and replace them and mix and match and all this kind of stuff. And the art on those is done by famous board game artists. Like we've got like Alexander Elichev from like Gloomhaven and Frosthaven, Peter Walken from Sagrada. Like I got, I was about to spoil one that's coming out, but it's still stretch goal. I have the artist from Return to Dark Tower on there. The Maiko, who's from, Architects of the West Kingdom and Rages of the North Sea. So I just have like an all-star cast of these artists, and I have 13 of them in total. I haven't revealed them all yet. Basically what we're doing is that we're doing like a choose your own adventure thing in the updates right now. Yep. And basically backers are choosing what to unlock. They don't specifically know what the art plates are they're unlocking, but they'll say they're like, oh, let's go to space. And then all of a sudden, they unlock a space themed art plate and that kind of stuff. So.
And you have Andrew Bosley on there as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, I do.
We're actually interviewing him on Thursday. So he's on our next podcast. We'll be with him. So we're very excited about that. I think what's pretty cool about these plates is you print right on plastic. You're not print. This isn't paper. This is actually plastic that you've printed onto, right?
Yeah. It's like, it uses this technology that it's pretty new. The only place I've ever seen it is used in like high-end phone cases. like for Kate Spade and LV and stuff like that. Like the factory that actually makes this also does Kate Spade and LV phone cases.
Wow.
And it's just like, it almost like welds the ink onto the plastic. So it just looks very vibrant when you look at it. It looks like a canvas.
Yeah.
So yeah, so.
And so this modular system, so, you know, I can only imagine what led you to creating this, much like the shelving system, is that, you know, taking a problem, right, that you have, or frustration, and saying, you know, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be a better way. But what's impressive here is is just a system that allows you kind of organize your pieces and tokens and so forth, but that it's so it's so adaptive. Like, as I was going through your campaign, I'm like, wait a second, it does that as well? Like, oh, now you can make it into a can use this for chip dip too. Like, where does it stop? Right? It's like cut vegetables. Like, where what are the limits? Right? So you've got
design out of control. It's just,
kind of like a staircase version but that same pieces can be then turned into like a triangular shape
at the top of your table, or a carousel that spins like a lazy Susan, and all this kind of stuff. No, it's wild. Like, we started with a really simple design, and it's like you said, like, came from a problem. Like, I was basically in the market for buying, you know, like token holders, and so like I saw, you know, like the cheap plastic ones, and I was like, these are okay. I remember it was like on Amazon, the branding of it was like the ultimate token holder. I'm like, is that ultimate? I'm like, I'm sure I can make something more interesting than that. And so like, basically, like I just started designing it. I was like, what can I do like to make this really cool? And then the design just got like out of control. And it was just like, now it's just this just labyrinthine design that it's really fun. Like, like the modularity of it. I guess I've always had a thing for like modularity. I guess you can see that in the BoxThrone. I just want to design something that people don't just set up and forget about it. Like, they can go back and reconfigure it to however they want, and adapt it to, I guess, the way they play games. So,
well, you certainly seem like you kept pushing the design, right, to say, you know, what else can it do? So the card, and I've got this for people who are watching live, there's like this little module allows you actually even put cards in there. Now, does that come with it, or is that like an add-on you have to add, or?
No, all that stuff comes with it. Like, basically what comes in one set is like basically everything you've shown on the page. So like that comes with it. And then you can either stick it in the middle on here, or you can like put it into a leg in like, if you have this walker formation, where it's like you have the legs underneath it and the stuff on top, a little bit like the level up. You can put the card module like through one of the legs and stuff like that. It's just like a lot of different stuff you can do with it. Yeah, and then like each of the signature art plate boxes comes with a dice rolling pad themed like the primary color in that art set. So basically, we have like 13 different dice rolling pads that kind of match the artwork as well. So,
and it's neat too. So it holds the tokens. You can use it for your dice rolling pad, which are great because I hate playing games where the dice go flying off the table. Like, it's good to kind of self-contain stuff like that. And then the one element I really liked was the feet. So there's another way you can modularize it, where you have these legs that allow you to either kind of hover over the corner of the board, or, you know, in the center of the board. I have one of these tables at my house where we love to play board games at it because it's kind of a modular table that's, you know, you can stretch it out to, you know, have seat 6 people. But typically it's great as a nice square table for 4, but it's just a little bit too small that if you want to put a game like Ticket to Ride or something on there, there's nowhere to put anything other than the board. So something like this, where you can actually have it hover above the board, would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's like modular forever, right? So like you could make those legs as tall as you want, right? So like you could have the thing up to here. You could have multiple layers of it. Like it's just crazy things you can do with it. Like, I'm kind of excited to see what the backers kind of come up with. Like, I had people saying like, oh, can you send me the STL file so I can make, you know, my own art plates and stuff like that. And so like, it's gonna be pretty fun, I think. It's gonna be
well, are you gonna allow that? You allow people to make their own?
Just for the plates, not for the actual product. So like the art, you couldn't 3D print the thing anyway. It's too complicated. But for the art plates, like we can design a special 3D printable one, so that they can kind of like make like people want to make like ones that have like a realistic, rock texture and all that kind of stuff, or like a Cthulhu
Sure.
themed one, then yeah, we'll let them do that.
Or whatever their favorite game is, right? They can just kind
Exactly.
of
Make a theme like it. Yeah.
do it. Now, you're already at, it looks like almost 1,750 backers. Now you have to tell me if this is Canadian or US dollars, but look like about $204,000. Is that US or Canadian?
That is Canadian.
That's
Yeah,
Canadian.
Yeah.
And still 23 days to go.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive start to your campaign. So it's already funded. I think your target was like 10,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that already being funded, where it's all kind of all gravy, not necessarily gravy, but it's all positive from here, right? Everything is now incremental to the original target, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
What got, when you design this, is this something that's kind of been in your mind since you were doing the BoxThrone shelving? Is it like, have you kind of mapped out all these organizers, or is it something that kind of mid-campaign of the last campaign you're doing, you're saying, gosh, now I got to do something with the tokens?
No, it was basically after I'd started shipping BoxThrone, and then it kind of hit that issue when I was shopping for containers, and I was like, oh, why don't I come up with this? It took like 2.5 years to get the design down. Like BoxThrone ended at the end of 2017, and now it's 2020, and now we're launching it. So it just took forever to get it out. I've kind of learned a lot of lessons from that too, like having, just in a project management perspective, having multiple projects in different stages and stuff like that going at the same time. Like right now I'm developing like my next 2 to 3 Kickstarters, like right now at the same time. So like I hopefully be able to at least release 1 to 2 Kickstarters a year. All of them just bizarre accessories, just kind of like Token Sesame, but pretty fun.
I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize that, right? That it takes a lot of work to put this stuff together. And, if your plan is to do, say, a Kickstarter a year, you've got to be planning years in advance to have those, so that, everything's at various stages, so that when, you're working on one right now, the next one's coming, you're in like stage 4 of that one getting ready. And then the one that's coming after that, you're in stage 3, and you just have to have these kind of stuff ready to go. The licensing of the artwork, did that take a while to set up with these different artists?
The licensing, it's not based on the actual games or with the publishers. It's just like art done by the artists. So like we have the agreements with the artists. I don't know, like if you look at it, like none of it's actually like based on, like, for example, Gloomhaven art or anything like that. It just has the same artist as Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
And so like they're actually responsible for coming up with kind of like their own designs. Like I help them a little bit. I'm like, just give us something that really shows off your art style. Like we know you're famous for a certain kind of art style. And so that's why you can see like in the Maiko's one, like you can see like it has kind of like the character design that's very familiar to people who played like Architects of the West Kingdom and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
that's
not actually licensed. Yeah, it's not based on the games. It's just with the artists.
Now, what kind of marketing are you doing? Because, again, to hit the level you've hit in such a short, like in a week, I gotta imagine there's some learning you've had from your prior campaign that you've carried over. Maybe you're trying some new things. Can you let us in on some of the things you're doing from a marketing standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, like there's some things that I think worked out really well and things that I kind of worked against me. I think the things that worked out really well is like getting your mailing list, getting your email list. Like I had about 4,000. Like I think that like with BoxThrone has a pretty big following, so I had like a 20,000 person email list with BoxThrone. But then with Token Sesame, I kind of like blasted the ads a bit too late. I only built it up for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, I got a mailing list of 4,000 people. But like the majority of I think like probably almost half of the pledges have come from people from those 2 mailing lists. So like that is by far the best ROI on all the marketing that I've done. Like I've also got like a lot of Facebook ads. Like I was running a lot of my own Facebook ads, but I don't know if I was doing it right. So right now I've recruited Green Inbox to nice. Do it. And it's already doing like way better than I was doing, to be honest.
We just talked to Aaron last week.
Yeah, great. Yeah, he's a good guy. So like it's just today is when it started, to be honest. And then it's like, it's already done probably 10 times better than I was doing for the past 5 days. So
it's certainly having people who are experts in those areas and having shouldering the load, right? Because it's a lot of work to run a Kickstarter campaign if you're taking care of production, design, everything else, right?
Yeah, like the technology they use, like it would be difficult for you to do it yourself, right? Yeah. So like you can obviously do your own Facebook ads and stuff like that, but it's only going to be so effective unless you have like specific tracking methods in place and stuff like that. That's usually all automated. And so you just have to ask yourself, like, this company is going to take, 15% of whatever they bring in. Like, are they going to do, like, without them, would I be able to raise the same amount? Like, they're going to raise you more than, 15% difference or whatever. Right. So
Yeah.
I just find it worth it. But yeah.
And that's the thing I think sometimes people get hung up on. They'll be like, oh, 15%, man, that's a lot. It's like, yeah, but that's 15% of what they bring in.
Yeah. And it's
right?
probably bring you an extra 40% on your campaign.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're getting gravy on top of what you're already doing and you have to give a big chunk of that gravy away,
yeah,
there's still gravy left over. Right.
Right.
You still get
exactly.
gravy.
Yeah.
And then for you're using for your pledge manager, CrowdOx, I guess is who you're using, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like Chandler was like a partner in like BoxThrone, and I was he's a partner in Token Sesame, stuff like that. So
so they helped you with BoxThrone as well.
Yeah, they did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for all my board game stuff, I'll probably just use CrowdOx, to be honest.
They do great work, I hear.
Yeah, no, they are.
I have to say that because I can see he's in the lobby listening. So
yeah, no, it's they got good tools and like competitive price and good mailing list options, all this kind of stuff.
So how did you build up your mailing list? So you said on BoxThrone you were in, what'd you say? You had something like 20,000. How did you get up like on your first campaign? Because obviously, and we see this like with Facade Games, for instance, we talked Bristol 1350 is a great example, where now their latest campaign did double what their prior campaign did, but they've done like, 6 games in a row, and each game you can see it growing bigger and bigger because that audience they're carrying forward and they keep building that list as they go. But on your first one, for you to crush it like you did, how did you get that up as big as you did?
I didn't have 20,000 when I launched. I only had 3,500 when I launched BoxThrone.
Okay.
But over the years, like now, like if you buy a BoxThrone, like you get like put in the mailing list and stuff like that, right? Like with their permission and stuff. And just from doing different email marketing, stuff like that. Like BoxThrone's actually like quite popular. Like it has a specific audience of people who maybe aren't super hardcore gamers, but like are just kind of starting their collection. So it's actually people kind of like forward it a lot to other people and all this kind of stuff. And so over 2 years, like I've built that mailing list just from people just signing up for it. Wow. And so, so 3,500 is all I had when I started. And when I did that for BoxThrone, because BoxThrone also did quite good day one, I built that I actually just built it on Board Game Geek. You don't see a lot of people doing pre-launch marketing on Board Game Geek, but it was getting me like 20, 30 signups a day. Wow. So did that. But now to get, like honestly, if you do anything except using Facebook pre-launch ads, like you're just wasting money. Facebook pre-launch ads, like I said, like in 3 weeks, I was able to get a mailing list of 4,000. And for board games, like you can easily get it under 80 cents a sign up. So,
and in terms of your Board Game Geek, so what kind of specifically what kind of marketing were you doing there to get the signups?
So like I did the. For when I was doing the signups one, I did the homepage half C's. They have like certain packages, right? And so actually, I think I only got the $800 package. So I got the smallest package. And so from that, I got 3,000 signups. So wow, it was super worth it for that one. For the campaign stuff, like it's okay. It's like, it's a hit and miss. Like I don't know. It's difficult because they charge by impression, right? So
it's not cheap.
So if someone has like ad blocker on, like, does it count? Does it not count? I'm not sure. I mean, if you're just trying to push your brand out as much as you can, Facebook, you can only spend so much on Facebook ads. So you might as well explore all your different channels. So you might as well just do it. Like we have Board Game Geek ads running right now and stuff like that. I mean, the value is in the newsletters, to be honest, like in any kind of marketing. And they have huge newsletter subscriber audience.
You get the signups from there. Has there been any plans to try to integrate your Token Sesame into actual games? So where people, create a new game and it ships with Token Sesame as the organizer, or?
Yeah, like I reached out to a few different publishers, but I think those leads just went dead after a while. So I think that was kind of like before I launched, right? So now that I've launched, I would love to like collab with other publishers to make art plates and stuff like for them. Yeah, I mean, that'd be really cool.
Be cool to even have it in the box, right? So you get maybe a basic Token Sesame system that then they can add on to if they want to, or so forth. And then the Token Sesame system is it, how do they, is it come in a box? Is it in, I think it's in a bag? Like how does it transport from?
Token Sesame system, the body kit comes in like a Ticket to Ride size box, and then the art plates come in like almost like, you know, pop figures, like how it has like the window.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like it's got a box that has a window on, so you can see all the artwork, and just design it to be very displayable. You know, so like if you collect 5 of them, you can kind of put them up for like a trophy showcase kind of thing, right? So yeah, so that comes in a little box for all the art plates, and the body kit comes in a big box. But yeah.
And how'd you come up with the name Token Sesame? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I like to think I'm good at puns. My girlfriend will disagree with me, but I don't know. Just kind of come up with all that kind of stuff.
The name just came up and you're like, oh, that sticks. That's,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Just I'm very big on branding, right? It's actually what I did as part of my previous jobs at Berkshire Hathaway Energy and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So like, and that's why you see in all the branding for BoxThrone and stuff like that, it's always like Your Majesty, and everything's in character, right?
Yeah.
Like when Token Sesame right now, it's like, greetings, fellow adventurers, and then every update is like a choose your own adventure style thing, right? And so like, I just very big on like the branding, getting people involved, and making it seem like not a company, but like an adventure for people to go on, or like it adds a bit of an escapist element for people when they're getting involved with the brand. So
yeah, how do you make an organizer fun, right?
Yeah, well, exactly, right.
So, all right, so you've taken a shelving system, you've made it fun. You've taken something that organizes your tokens, and you've made it fun. You build a story and so forth around it. So your company's called Cloud Puncher. Originally, I thought I was like thinking, is this Clown Puncher? Which should be hilarious. But Cloud Puncher Games. So where are you going from here? What's the next step? What's the next big thing? And can you give us a little bit of a teaser as to what you're working on, or?
Yeah. My next project is called Finger of Destiny. This is the first time I've ever mentioned it anywhere. So the next one's called Finger of Destiny. And hopefully I'll be launching it in December. So we will see. Right now I'm still in the production, like the R&D phase of it. So, but it's going to be, there's nothing like it, to be honest. And then I've got another couple of projects too that I don't want to talk about. But,
Organizer, or is it some kind of, again, taking this theme, or?
No, it's another tabletop accessory,
okay.
But it will solve a problem that I think people might not realize that they have. So it might be interesting.
That's the thing, right? If you can find a problem that people don't even know they have until they see the solution, and then like, oh, now I get it. What I love is the little the GIFs you have on your page where it shows like,
oh yeah, I'm GIF crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome though, because it reminds me of kind of the classic infomercials, right? Where it's like, oh no, I'm trying to pour it into the bag and they're spilling everywhere. Or people's hands are hitting each other as they're trying to grab their tokens, or I can't get the token off the table and things like this. I think it's certainly you bring a lot of personality and humor to your approach, I guess.
Yeah, like in the video and stuff too. I don't know if you watched the video. Like I kind of have like those boxing character and stuff like that I've had in all my videos. And so yeah, just like I think in terms of the infomercial style, I think infomercials are overall, they have like a genius structure to them, right? Yeah. And I think most famous sales pages and stuff like that for any product will follow an infomercial style. It helps someone understand what the benefits of the product are from understanding what their problem is, right? So yeah, for all my Kickstarters, I've followed that same format.
Well, as Procter & Gamble's classic, right? With their advertising was always problem solution, right?
Of course.
Here's a problem. Yeah, exactly. Here's a solution. And if you can throw some personality in there and a story, great. But that's the core of that advertising is, okay, you know, what are you solving for me, right? And why do I need this in my life? And certainly with your 2 launches so far, it's clear these are things that people need. And I can't wait to see what Finger of Destiny is all about. I'm sure that's going to be coming out soon, and I'll be looking for the teaser on that. Cool. I want to thank you for your time. I know that it's late for you being on the other side of the planet, but thank you so much for coming on this podcast. I wish you all the best with this Kickstarter, which is already rocking and rolling, but I'm sure it's just going to keep growing from here. So once again, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You take care, eh? Cheers.
All right. See ya.